Okay, everyone. So I believe I'm audible and visible, guys. So please confirm so that we can start. So good evening, Akshaj. Yeah. So ping me, guys. Everyone in a chat quickly. Okay. Good evening, Devendra, Silva, Rajesh, Santoshi, Satvik, everyone. Yeah. Prashant. So let's start. So yes, guys, tell me what we are going to discuss today. I believe I talked about it yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. Good evening, Kaushal. So what we are going to discuss, guys, in today's class, deployment. Okay. So deployment in what manner? Deployment, resourcing, Terraform, and cloud. Okay, let's do it. So yesterday, let me share my screen and let's get started. Today's class is going to be very, very amazing. Interesting, by the way. I think this is the data. Let me close it. And so, guys, this is a seed that we have discussed yesterday, right? That whenever you have to do a deployment, so obviously, if I'm going ahead with the AWS, so some of or the other part I have to consider from compute side, from this one, from this one, from this one, and that purely depends upon the data or architecture that you are going to technically create. So it's not like you will end up using everything everywhere, right? So obviously you have to pick and choose while designing those architecture, and out of that you will end up using it. So this is something that we are going to see in my today's class. So what we are going to do, so we'll try to pick a small application, not a fancy application, not a AI application, I would say a small application, because we have to learn deployment. And then in every application we have to basically use that particular deployment in a real time. Yeah. So let's say what we are going to do, so we will try to design a small architecture, so where in that architecture I will end up using something from compute, I will end up using something from container. I will end up using something from storage services. I will end up using something from a relational DB. I will end up using something from a NoSQL databases. I will end up using cache system. I will end up using not GraphDB, not today. So maybe I'll end up using something from a networking, at least like a load balancers, and maybe like Route 53 if we have to do a domain mapping. For sure this comes into picture, right? And then this one, and not AI ML. I told you already, right? So I don't like their AI ML stack or GenAI stack, which is available on their cloud platform. There are better options which is available in a market from other vendors. So we have to basically consume all of these sections in a real time, basically in our application, so that we'll be able to understand that what is going to do what. Yeah, what is going to do what. So created free account in AWS, GCP, Azure, but Azure free credit not created, it's showing zero. It takes some time, maybe like 24 hour, even after adding a card, sometime, right? Depends. So here, what we can do, so we can try to create one application. We can try to design one application, so where everything will be involved at any point of a time. So what kind of application we are going to design? So in our application, let's say there will be front end, there will be back end that we are going to keep. Now what front end is going to represent, so obviously we need some sort of a use cases, right? We need some sort of a use cases. So let's say I will try to create a website. Fine. I will try to create a website. So where I can try to showcase maybe some of the item, maybe laptop or something. I can try to showcase in a thumbnail, and then I will try to showcase maybe a picture over a picture of the laptop, a pricing of the laptop, description of the laptop. I will try to showcase along with that. So I will try to showcase maybe a review, so anyone can come over there and anyone will be able to give a review, a small application, right? And yes, in a backend, so it is going to call API, which I'm going to write it down in a fast API mode. And eventually, it will be able, people can come, people can browse the product, people will be able to write a reviews over there, and some or the other operations people will be able to do it. So we'll try to keep it minimalistic because we have to understand deployment. And then we will go and we will try to deploy that application somewhere. So let me open up my Scribble link and let's start designing that kind of a application. And then let's start writing down all the stack of the deployment that we are going to use it. So here I wanted to basically create a website or maybe a portal, right? So where I can come and I will be able to I will be able to showcase a laptop over here. Yeah, laptop over here, their review, their information. So this is something which will be available on a website. So people can come over here, they can click on this laptop images, and then they will be able to basically browse this entire like a things, browse this entire catalog, and they will be able to do some sort of interaction. Maybe they can try to fill an inquiry form, maybe they can try to do a login. Forget about login, we are not going to attach login today. But yeah, so auth today basically. So we'll be like creating this one. So this is going to be my front end. Yeah, front end. Now obviously when someone is going to click over here, so data should come from a database. Means technically I need a backend, right? I need basically backend. So whenever someone is going to click on this laptop, so I'm not going to keep a static data. I will be keeping all of this data into some of the databases. So into a databases DB, I'm going to keep all of this data. Not just that. So laptop image wise, so I'm not going to keep it again in a static manner. I will try to keep it inside a file system. So maybe I can try to keep it inside the S3 bucket file system basically. So whenever someone is going to click over here, so it will try to write or try to call the API endpoint, and it will be able to fetch the data. I will try to build some of the features, so maybe like a review feature, so that people can go and people will be able to give a reviews over there. And yes, so this is the small system we are going to create. Now, this looks like a small system, but in the same small system, if I'm going to host it for a million of user, same system, right? If I have to host it for a million of user, so obviously I have to set that entire infrastructure. So I have to select my database first of all, that which database I'm going to choose, where I'm going to keep all the informations with respect to a product and the reviews and other things. Maybe I can go ahead with one single database. I can go ahead with a multiple database. So maybe I can go ahead with a SQL database over here. I can go ahead with the NoSQL database. In NoSQL database, I can try to keep all the review. In a SQL database, I can try to keep all the relations of a tables, basically like laptops, users, all those information. I can try to keep it inside the SQL databases. I need basically a place where I can try to keep my files, basically image file, right? So there will be a image file, so I should keep my image file. So for that, maybe I can try to use a S3 bucket. So where I can go and I can try to keep all those thumbnails and all those files over there. When someone is going to hit my website, so I need a load balancer as well, right? Load balancer as well, so that load balancer will be able to distribute the whole traffic, and then it is going to basically give me a response. I also need a CDN, content delivery network. Yesterday we talked about content delivery network, right? That let's say my server is in Mumbai, people are hitting from Hyderabad. So again and again my traffic should not come to Mumbai. So basically from Hyderabad itself. So if people are trying to load the website, so from their CDN network itself, so they should be able to get a response, so that their load time will be less, right? Their load time will be less. So I have to attach technically CDN as well, content delivery network as well. So there are a lot of things that can be done in the same structure, basically. A very, very simple structure, but still everything can be done over there. So now it's time to do those everything. So how we can do it? So first of all, what will happen? Yeah, first of all, so let's say user will come on internet, 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 right? So people will come over here. Yeah, people will come over here, and from internet means Google Chrome, by the way, your browser. So people will try to hit your application. Yeah, so let's say you have xyg.com. On this your application is available, for example Euron.1, where we are having the entire website which is available. Now from here, so if I'm going to do a domain mapping, right? If I have to do a domain mapping, Then tell me what is a service name which I can try to use it from AWS. Domain mapping. Yes, if I have to do a domain mapping, what is the service name, guys, from AWS by which I can do a domain mapping? IP address versus xyz.com name. Quick, quick, quick. We have written that yesterday. Not DNS. I mean, like, yeah, DNS provider. So, what is a service name? DNS is a common term, right? DNS is basically not a product name from AWS. DNS is a common name. Yes, DNS is a very common name. So, basically, Kausal is saying Route 53. Exactly. So, if you have to do a domain mapping, so in that case, Route 53 is something that you can try to use it from AWS. Let's go back here. Yeah, let's go back here. So, here you will be able to find out a domain mapping somewhere. So in a networking for DNS, what is the name? Route 53. If I'm using AWS, then here name server, Azure name server, or here cloud DNS. This is the name. So in case of AWS, the name is basically Route 53 for a DNS mapping. So that because AWS is going to give you what? A machine, a hardware. Hardware will be having what? IP address and port number. But for user, you can't go and give an IP address, right? Even for Euron.1. So we never give IP address. We always say, go to this Euron.1 and then you will be able to access us. As simple as that. So same thing, right? Same thing, we are technically going to do it. So here Route 53 is going to help me out in terms of a domain mapping. Then after this Route 53, let's say we have done a domain mapping, then it should always hit my CDN. What is the name of service which provides a CDN, content delivery network, in AWS? What's the name? I believe I have already shared this seed. That seed is already available inside your resource section of my yesterday's lecture. You can go and download it if you don't have this seed and open up this seed. Yeah. So now everyone is saying CloudFront. So yes, that's a name from AWS. Fine. So now if you'll go back to the seed, right? So here CDN wise, what is the name? It's a CloudFront in AWS. Okay, fine. So here we have to do a CDN, and for that I can try to use CLOUDFRONT CloudFront as a service. I think we all know what is the meaning of CDN. Anyone who is not aware about the meaning of CDN? A layman understanding of CDN, what CDN actually does, so that you can explain to even a kids. Guys, in a chat quickly. If you understand, just say yes. If you don't understand, say no. Simple. Not a big deal. Okay, Kausal is saying no. Anyone who can explain in a very simple line what is CDN, content delivery network? Lot of network. Okay. Not lot of network, lot of machine connected via network. So where it can do a local caching. Okay, so I'll explain once again, then CDN. It's very important. Cache and delivery static content from the machine closer to the user. Exactly. Yes, that's a definition, right? A machine which is going to catch information and then it can give you a quicker response for your static content. For example, image load. If you're trying to do maybe a video process or video buffering, you are trying to do it, or video play, you are trying to do it. So from your CDN, that's the reason. So from Instagram, right? When you start scrolling, so it takes very less time and starts playing it, right? Because it is trying to pull all those images based on your feed and based on the nature of your feed from your CDN, content delivery network. Same thing we have done even in Euron, the video streaming solution that we have, or video solution that we have. So where we do a video encoding. So we have done the same thing, right? We are using over there a Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a company name, by the way. CloudFront is a service name in AWS. So CDN will be there. Okay. Now from CDN, right? From CDN, so it will be attached maybe to a S3 bucket if it has to load the images. So one time, like it is going to load it for one closest location. Then from here, if it has to load the images. Otherwise, it will come to ALB, load balancer, right? Application load balancer. If someone has to browse more, if someone has to see the laptop specification, laptop pricing, if someone has to give a review or see the reviews, so in that case it is supposed to access my API. They are supposed to hit my APIs basically. So if they are hitting my APIs, in that case, it will come to, or it will go through my load balancer, application load balancer. And behind this load balancer, I'll keep my entire backend basically. So behind this one. So let's say my load balancer will be there. So it is going to, distribute the traffic over here. I have to host my backend. Now tell me, guys, what is a service I should use to host my application? Open up the seat. Tell me from AWS. What are the possible combination that I have to host my application? Quick, everyone. Okay, so let me give you in this manner. Let's say if I'm trying to build my application by using a Docker container approach, then tell me what are the options that I have from AWS. Docker container approach. Yes. Satvik is saying ECS. So can I say ECS, ECR? Yeah. So ECR to register the Docker, and then ECS to execute it, to get a compute, by the way, right? So ECR, ECS, ECR for registry. So ECR is basically a service, so where you can go and you can do a versioning of your Docker, because every time you will do a deployment, it will try to create a version. And then ECS for getting a compute, right? Compute. That is one option I have. Another option, Kubernetes option I have, K8s option I have, right? Another option for this kind of application, so I can even go ahead with app runner. I have that option as well. Another option, so let's not use any kind of a managed services. Let's go ahead with the new machine, EC2 machine. So even with the EC2 machine, I will be able to do it. So the way I will be able to execute a code in my local machine, in the similar manner, I will be able to execute even over there by taking one EC2 machine. So EC2 machine is one option I have. If I'm going ahead with the Docker container, then ECR plus ECS. Again, inside a ECS, there is two solutions. One is a Fargate based solution, which is a serverless solution, big pool that we have discussed yesterday. If I'm going to choose a EC2 inside ECS, because that is also possible. So in that case, it is going to charge me based on the machine selection that I have. So it will not be a pool. So Fargate is going to give me basically a pool. I mean, like it is going to give me less cost over there. So I have that option. I have Lambda option as well. This is a small application, right? So I can try to use, I can use even an Elastic Beanstalk option. So I have, for this kind of application, I have almost like a lot of options available to me, right? Available to me. So let's say in my local system, I'm trying to build it with the help of Docker and container approach. So in that case, I will go ahead with the ECS, ECS, ECR kind of a solution. If I'm using a Kubernetes K8s, I will try to use it. If I'm not using anything, then I have other options as well, or maybe a bare machine option as well. So I can just take one EC2 instances and I can use it. Okay. So here, if I have a backend means my APIs, and we all understand APIs, by the way, right? So here we can try to host my backend by using ECR, ECS, ECS. Now give me the name of the service where I can host my front end. Backend you are hosting, your API you are hosting. What about front end? Quick, guys. Where we can host front end? Yes. Where we can host front end? Can I say even in ECS, ECR I can host it? No. I can run front end in my container, right? Same. I mean, you are able to run front end means HTML file, JavaScript file, all those files, let's say. So can I say that even in local machine, you can open up something in a browser, you will be able to see the front end in your local machine, whether you are using Windows or Mac or Linux machine, right? So ECR, ECS, they are giving you container. So can I say that even with the help of container, I will be able to host it? Yeah. Even by using just a EC2, machine, I will be able to host it. Even by using just a bean stack, I will be able to host it. Even by using a app runner, I will be able to host it. Even by using a Kubernetes, I will be able to host it. So whatsoever option is available for a front end, that's available for a backend as well. But for front end, AWS is providing you another special services just from front end. It's called as Amplify, right? There is something called as AWS Amplify, even in a Euron. So we are trying to use like that Amplify since last like 2 3 years. So Amplify, there are other platforms out there, Versal and all those platforms, so which is giving you like all this front end back end kind of options, so where you can go and you can try to basically host your front end. So Amplify, so I can try to create one single container. In that container itself, I can keep my back end and front end. And in general, what happens when my application will grow, when my application and features are going to be big, so we try to host always our front end and back end in a separate instances. So we create a separate pipeline for front end and separate for backend. We never keep backend and front end together. That's a standard approach that we try to follow, basically. But yeah, this application is a very small one. I can keep it together. Not a big deal at all. So I'll keep every file in a single one and single Docker container image I'm going to create it. Okay, that's fine. Now, so backend is going to call a database. So for example, if someone is going to click on your icon, laptop icon, it will be calling a database. So which database I can try to use, guys? Give me the name of the service name from AWS. Yes. Can you come closer to a mic? I'm very close to my mic. The next step will be like I have to get into a mic. Yeah, maybe in a video it's not visible, but yeah, it's like only 2 3 inch of distance, max to max, not more than that. So yeah, tell me guys. So basically backend, right? So whenever you are going to click on your laptop icon, let's say, so it will try to load a data. It will try to load a information with respect to a basically like our respective laptops, right? What is the laptop name? What is the configuration? Or maybe a reviews, or maybe if someone will give a reviews, it should log that into a databases. So what is a service I can try to use from AWS for a database? Raj is saying RDS. Okay, fine. Inside RDS, what and all options are available to me? Yes. Inside RDS, what and all options are available to me? Yesterday I have shown you, right? They provide a lot of databases. They provide basically like, PG databases. They provide you basically, DB2 also. Yeah. So a lot of options are available. So RDS is a service that I can try to use. And then out of that, I can try to use a PG. PG database. Fine. So this is going to be my DB, let's say. So this is going to my DB layer. Okay, fine. Now, so let's say user is trying to query same thing again and again and again. So I have to attach basically my caching system as well. So which is going to make my application fast, right? Which is going to make my application basically very, very fast. So what we can do, so we can try to put in between my compute and the database, right? Whenever it will try to give a call, before that, it will try to basically check with the cache system. And here, so we can try to use basically a caching system. So what is the name of the caching system in AWS? Elastic Cache. Yeah. Open up that seat, guys. In that seat, everything is already there. Elastic Cache. I think we all understand why we are using a caching system in between, so that it will be able to, instead of querying a data, it will instead of like doing a query on DB, basically database, it will try to respond from the cache itself, so that my application will be even more faster. Yeah, even more faster. Okay, cool. Now, so now tell me, I have to perform a log. I have to basically log each and every information. So basically, I have to log with respect to utilization of my CPUs, my RAM, my hard disk. Plus, I have to log even applications log, basically like who is hitting, from where they are hitting, from which IP address they are hitting. All of these things I have to basically log. So now to do a logging and monitoring, what is a service from AWS I'm supposed to use? Quick, look into the seat. CloudWatch. Yeah, CloudWatch. So in CloudWatch, I will be able to get both the kind of a log I will be able to handle. One is a metrics which is coming from your hardware. So like what is the latency, what is the response time, what is the number of requests that you are receiving, everything. And then application log. So on application label, so whatsoever I would like to log, how many people are coming, who is coming, from which IP address they are coming, from which device they are coming, everything I will be able to log it. So application plus matrices means hardware plus or hit or like call basically on my API plus application log, I will be able to log it. So there I will try to use basically CloudWatch. CloudWatch is something which I will try to use it. Yeah, CloudWatch. Yeah, Loki, Grafana, Prometheus, all of these you will be able to use it. There is no doubt about it. But yes, CloudWatch is a service that we can try to use it directly. Okay, so this is done. Now let's go back and look into my seat. So can I say that from compute side we are able to select ECR, ECS? Yes. And I can select all the other options as well. So the selection which I have done, it's not like that's a final selection, but yeah, the selection which I have done, it's kind of a standard selection. So where even if I will go on a scale, I will be able to handle it. So even if millions of people are going to hit my system, I will be able to handle that particular traffic. So keeping that in our mind, ECS and ECR is something that we have selected. Now here container wise, we have like, selected basically ECR, ECS, container registry and container orchestration, these two part. Storage wise, S3 bucket where I'm going to store my images, I have selected. DB wise, AWS RDS we have selected. We don't need any kind of a NoSQL DB as of now, so not selected. Cache wise, so Elastic Cache is something that we have already selected. Graph database is not required, so I'm not selecting it. Now Route 53, if I have if I have to do a domain mapping, then only I will go and I will try to select Route 53. ELB is something which I'm going to select by default. ALB is coming from there itself. So application load balancer. CloudFront is I have selected for a CDN. VPC by default I have to select. VPC subnet is something which I'm supposed to create. Without that, you can't control outbound inbound traffic, right? IAM is by default I have to use it because without IAM access, I will not be able to set up the keys and I will not be able to basically run the entire things. For audit log wise, CloudWatch is something that we are going to create. I'm not going to use a secret manager, WF, AWS Shield, Guard Duty, or certificate manager as of now. From this segment, IAM and CloudWatch is something which I'm going to select. Now, ops wise, CI CD, obviously we have to do it. So again, CI CD wise, I'll take a separate class for that. So CI CD wise, there are different kind of a CI CD which is possible. So generally I used to teach 10 to 12 different kind of a CI CD operation. So it's not just one single CI CD operation which exists in this world. There are so many and then a customized one. As of now, we'll be doing like a simple blue green line kind of a deployment. I'll be talking about blue green line. There is something called as canary deployment. There is something called as blue green line deployment. So we will try to use a blue green line kind of a deployment for doing a CI/CD. AIML wise, so I don't even like this particular stack from these providers. And my application is not having any kind of a AIML use for now at least. Going forward, obviously, we'll be having that. So can I say that almost everything we are able to select from every stack, guys? Yes. Yeah. For this application, we are able to select. So fine, this seat is working. This is what I was trying to prove you that this seat is working. I can take a reference from this particular seat while doing this. Now I have to create a whole application. Yeah, I have to basically create a whole application. So let's go ahead. Let's start creating the whole application. It's 8:34, right? So just note down this time so that we can see, we can check how much time it is taking to create this application. VS Code, file, open folder, D drive, auto, deployment. That's the name I have given. Now let's get into a vibe coding mode. I think for the very first time we are doing vibe coding in this class, right? We have never done vibe coding, I believe, before. Yep. Everyone? Yeah. Okay. So there are multiple ways of doing again a vibe coding. So vibe coding is not a straightforward like you can go and just start writing a prompt and then it is going to work. No, it is not going to work. So I'll teach you that approach as well so that you can minimize the time and minimize a token utilization basically. Not just that, so you will be able to build end to end application in a bare minimum time. When I say bare minimum, so 2 3 days of time you will be able to build a literally big application, right? Euron kind of application, so where we have multiple product, you will be able to build it. But with a surety, with predictability that yes, it is going to work basically, because if you will just go and do a prompting, it is not going to work. So fine, I'm going to use a Claude code for this particular purpose. So let me go and let me write down my prompt in a very first place. So I'll try to open up my Word document. Let's say Word. Okay. So how I do it, let me show you. So what is the approach which I used to follow in general, and it works basically. It's a proven approach. Many people used to follow to build a product, basically. So first of all, I will try to write my vague idea. So whatsoever idea that we have and whatsoever idea that we have discussed over here, so I'll try to convert that in a form of prompt. So I'm just trying to showcase one end-to-end auto deployment system. So where we are going to create a simple front end. Inside a front end, so we will be having a laptop listing. So there we can showcase a image of the laptop. There we can showcase a name of the laptop, provider of the laptop, description of the laptop, reviews of the laptop, and anyone can come and anyone can click on those buttons and they will be able to see all the details in an expanded view basically. And they will be able to even write a reviews without doing a login. So I don't want a login system over here. This is just a demo application that we are trying to create now. So when someone will come and then someone will try to uh, click on those laptop icons basically, or images, so they must be able to get all the information from the databases. And obviously image must be stored in a S3 bucket, and database wise, so we are going to use a PG database from AWS. And yeah, so people must be able to give reviews, and again that must be stored inside my databases, a same SQL based database that we are going to use. Now take a stack wise, what we are going to do, so we are going to use basically route 53 for my domain mapping. Again, we are going to use basically ECR ECS based deployment. Backend and frontend is going to be same basically. Front end wise, so I would like to use React over here, and back end wise, I would like to use a Python fast API. So let me go to my Whisper Flow and copy. Okay, copy it. So yeah, that's a prompt so far I have written. Fine, fine. Fast API backend. Now, so yeah, so backend wise, I'm going to use a fast API as I have already mentioned, and front end wise, we are going to create a front end in a React. Along with that, so we are going to use other services as well. So we are going to use a S3 bucket for storing my images. We are going to use basically a load balancer, application load balancer from AWS. We are going to use even a CDN system, so CloudFront from AWS, and we are also going to use basically a Elastic Cache for a catching system for this particular application. Now this application must be deployed in a scalable manner so that if I'm going to get maybe millions of hit in a second, it must be able to handle it. This application must be deployed in a USA region, not in a India region. And to deploy this entire application, so you have to create a blue green line deployment strategy. Blue green line CI/CD basically you have to create it with the help of Git and GitHub. So I will be giving you an access of that. And along with this, basically, you have to let me check. Fine. So this one is done. Hmm. Git and GitHub. Blue green light deployment, I believe I have already mentioned. Blue green light deployment. Fine. CloudWatch. So you have to use a CDN system. I believe I have already mentioned that. Plus, you have to basically use a CloudWatch where you will be able to log and show me basically a graph or dashboard for a matrices as well as for a application log. Okay. So this is supposed to be a dev environment. This is not supposed to be a production environment. So just try to keep our resources as low as possible. Now I would like to use EAC basically with EAC. So I would like to use a Terraform. So with the help of Terraform, I would like to control each and everything. So that in single command, it must be able to spin the entire application end to end from my local system to a GitHub to a cloud and yeah, hosting. We can think of doing a domain mapping in a later stage. So just as of now, do not try to build basically a route 53. It's fine. We can try to work on other things. At the end of the day, with one single click or one command, I must be able to get my final URL. So where I can go and I can see the application, I can experience the application. Now UI interface wise, so try to make it amazing. And yeah, so while creating a website, so try to seed this entire website with at least 50 data set of a different laptop and its respective images. And let me know if you need any kind of information from my side. So just to build this small application, guys, one pager application, as you can see, I have written a very long prompt and whatsoever came in my mind. So I have just like, written it over there. Now what I can do, so next step, what I do in general is that I go to GPT or Gemini. So for example, I'll go to GPT and I'll try to paste this vague prompt, the prompt that, came in my mind. And I'll just go and give some command to a GPT saying that, let me give that. So I'm trying to build this application. This is my idea. And yeah, so I just wanted to keep it as minimalistic as possible. And within 30-40 minutes, I would like to build it end to end. And I would like to host it on AWS. So I just want a minimalistic approach. Again, so my Terraform must be able to destroy its resources. So once with the help of one single command, mm, all the resources only with respect to this one. So yeah, just try to give me a command by which I will be able to build a Claude MD file. I will be able to build a skill file. I will be able to build a rule file. I will be able to put a restrictions over there. And yeah, so with the help of Claude code, I must be able to build this entire application. Again, minimalistic one. So give me a Claude prompt with which I can initiate this entire things. So just this is a vague idea, and then I said that give me a Claude MD skills and rule. I'll teach you this one, not today, a later stage. I'll teach you that what is the significance of Claude MD, how we can set our all the agent, so that it can work for me in a best possible manner. So let's go, and then it is going to give me a prompt. So out of my this vague prompt, the first cut of the prompt, 30 to 40 minute dev demo, fine. Now it is able to understand everything that internet, cloud CDN, then React front end, right? Private S3 static asset. Then API it is going to build. Blue green line deployment it is going to build. Yes. So it is basically able to adopt each and everything. Laptop images is coming from a private S3 out front GitHub wise. So GitHub action, test this, and push it in a blue green line deployment. And yeah, so it is going to log each and everything. Okay, cool. So this is a prompt it has given to me, a very big one. See, this is the prompt. Still it's writing for front-end hosting, for CloudFront, blue-green deployment, milestone. So yeah, it is writing everything basically for me. It is writing even a structure that if I'm trying to use a Terraform, then what should be my structure? Load testing, fine. A repo structure for front end, for back end. Create Claude MD first, skill file, costing rules, restrictions. So it is trying to create a restrictions basically. Readme prerequisite. Yeah. So whatever I said, line by line, it is able to expand it. Final validation. So all of these things it is going to do. Hmm. So this is my final prompt, guys. And now if I'm going to show you like how many lines, so it's not going to be lines, it's going to be pages, by the way. So here, if I'm going to download it, and it is a very small application, right? Although I'm using all the layers of a deployment strategy. So if you'll go and check the number of pages just for this application, it has written is 40 page first cut prompt is going into a system just to start this system, just to start building this system. So that's a beauty. Basically, if you're going to use AI in a proper manner, and if you're going to expand each and everything in a better manner, then it is going to build it. So from today onward, we're going to learn vibe coding. Not today onward, so still you have to wait. I'm just teaching you with respect to this application. So I'm just trying to show you that how to automate it. Yeah. I'll teach you. I'll take a there will be a special class just for vibe coding. So where I'm going to teach you a best possible way to do a vibe coding and to build up entire application. Because there are so many things again comes into picture. Design, then like LLD, HLD, business use case breakdown, cost estimation, basically, lot of things which comes. So this is basically my prompt. I'll not do anything. So I'll just copy this and then I'll just try to send this particular prompt here. Yeah. 1354 lines of prompt, which is going in a first cut. And then hit enter. It is in a autonomous mode. It will take first 5 to 7 minutes to create my Claude MD file, my skill file, and my rule file, which I'm going to discuss with you. And then it will start building the project. So there is a, see, immediately it has created the folder. I'll teach you a proper way of doing a vibe coding. Please send the prompt so that I can do it. Okay, fine. Let me send you the final Word document, 40 pages that is been created. Think I'm not able to drop doc file. Okay, let me send it inside your group. You're the part of group, right? Your batch name is June, I believe, right? June Super 30. Let me drop that over here in your group. Yeah. So I have already dropped that, guys. You can check your group. So structure is created, right? Structure is created for this entire like a file. So backend structure, frontend structure, infrastructure, rules, script, seed. For seeding a data, I said that seed that with the 50 laptop information. So this is a very small application. So the whole idea is to show you the automation part, like how we can automate end to end from my local to a cloud, so that one click deploy, one click new feature will be shipped, right? And that too in Azure, AWS, GCP, wherever I want, I can just do it. So first of all, let's do it for AWS. Azure and GCP will try to extend the same application. Will this work on AWS free tier? Yeah, it will work. I'll talk about a front end basically. It's not difficult to learn even like these front end things. So TypeScript supports both front and back end. Node is for like a back end. React is for basically your front end. So it's very easy. It's a JavaScript basically like a based language. It's very easy to understand. If you understand Python, then you will be able to understand even that. I'll give you a KT on that part. You can also use Streamlint, but Streamlint is not good from Python part. Maybe you can also use Streamlint Gradio, which is a Python based front end library, but it's not good for any application. I mean, even if you're creating MVPs, I do not advise anyone to go ahead with the Streamlit or Gradio. Go ahead with React kind of a things. So here, you must be able to see that it has created a Cloud MD file. Now, what it does, so this file is going to give a reference, and this file basically it uses to create. Not it is not going to create by default automatically. I said that create a Cloud MD file, then only it is creating it. By default, it is not going to create automatically. So in this cloud.md file, it is going to keep a project objective, means high level basically. So local dev to git to GitHub to GitHub action to Docker to ECR for ECS Fargate, then load balancer, then Cloudware, and then public URL. So this is the flow that it is going to create, which looks fine to me because this is the flow which I said that you should do it. Then architecture wise, so this is trying to create the architecture. So there will be internet, there will be like CloudFront for my CDN, and then on one end there will be images, on one end it will try to load like a front end, other end API, and then one end health, and then document. Rest of the things sits below the same, like by APIs, and then my DB over here, my cache system over here. So here, like a no NAT gateway I'm going to create, right? Because it is going to take $32 per month for me, and again in a free tier I believe it will not be available. ECS in a public subnet I'm going to create. RDS plus elastic cache in a private subnet we are going to keep, so that outside world will not be able to hit my DB and cache directly. Only through a load balancer it should come. Single CloudFront distribution, so only public URL for front end. CloudFront OAC, OSC we are going to use, local Terraform state. Technology stack wise, front end wise, I'm going to use React, TypeScript, Bytecode, Tailwind CSS, React Router, and Axios. So this is basically coming from my React, as I have selected React. Backend wise, Python 3.12, Fast API, Pydantic V2 it is going to use. And yeah, so it is going to use SQL Alchemy for my ORM basically. Uh, Alembic, and then UVcorn, Psycho, PyPZ, Redis, Spy, Bot 3. This is something that it is going to use. Database wise, Postgres it is going to use from RDS. Cache wise, Elastic Cache it is going to use. Container wise, so ECS, ECR it is going to use. Fargate, which is going to be spot instances. Networking wise, so BPC, two public plus two private subnet, ALB, and security group it is going to use. Static CDN wise, this one, S3 plus like a CloudFront. Monitoring, basically CloudWatch it is going to use, log plus dashboard. Terraform it is going to use, version is 1.6, more than that. CI/CD wise, so GitHub action it is going to basically use it. Region US East 1, in that region it is going to deploy. So this is my technology stack. Now once you will end up doing 2 3 projects, a small let's say, right, again and again you will be able to find out that lots of things is repeating itself. So it's not like in every project you go and you reinvent things. So that's the reason. So we have created this seat, right? This particular seat. And in front end, in back end, in AI stack, right? In monitoring, in CI/CD. Because if you will look into this one, right? If you look into this one, doesn't matter which application you are going to create. Front end will be there, right, guys? Can I say front end will be there? Yes, everyone, quickly. Any application? AI application, non-AI application. I mean, like nowadays, every application is AI application. Without AI, you can't do it. Backend will be there for sure, right? Databases will be there. Maybe SQL, maybe no SQL, maybe vector databases. Vector in case of if I'm trying to do maybe RAG, agentic RAG, something like that. Cache system by default will be there. Redis cache. Redis is the open source, and Redis is the only one which people have created. And then everyone has like branded it with their own name. For example, Elastic cache. Elastic cache like a Redis. It's technically a Redis, right? Redis was the open source project. So cache system for sure you will end up using on a multiple layers, by the way, so that your system will be able to respond as quick as possible. Container you will end up creating. Even if you're going to use K8 solution, Kubernetes, inside that container you will try to manage, right? So eventually Docker container is something that you will end up using for sure. Doesn't matter what application you are going to create. Networking, For sure, VPC, NAT, all those things you are going to manage. Subnet you are going to manage. Routing you are going to manage. Routing table you are going to manage. Default one. CDN, by default you will end up using it, right? So for a static content, for a delivery. Monitoring, by default you are going to do it in any application. Infrastructure as a code, so if you have to manage a lot of machines, 1,000 machines, hundreds of machines, and then you have to run all those applications over there, you can't do it manually. You can't go and log in into your AWS account and then do a click 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 click. No, that's not a way of doing it, right? So by default, you will try to automate your infrastructure. So Terraform kind of a things will come into picture. CI/CD, by default, a nature of any application. So to, like, sip your features and sip your products basically. Again, there are multiple way of doing CI/CD. A reason, in any region you can try to deploy, or even in a multiple region you can try to deploy it, right? So all of these things which we have listed down over here, can I say that these are the bare minimum and the must for any application you are going to create in this world? Yes. Yeah. So that is what we are trying to achieve. On top of that, when we will try to create agents, so then agentic framework will come into picture. Then there will be a pipeline of hosting an agent, just like a backend we are hosting, right? Even in those applications, backend will be there. But let's say there will be 2 3 backends. For example, there will be agentic backend. Now to observe agentic backend, so here we are trying to use, to observe all these things, we are trying to use basically CloudWatch. There we will end up using Langsmith. We'll see all the stats over there, right? And how agent is calling LLMs. There we will try to involve LLMs. In case of RAG, we'll try to involve RAG. So that will be addition on this one, the same one that we have written over here. Make sense, guys? So it will be an addition. It's not like we are doing something and then we are not going to use this one. No, exactly 100% of these things will be used, and addition with respect to AI agents, with respect to your RAG. And then with the help of agents, we are going to maintain and manage the processes basically. So fine, guys, let me check how much it is able to do it. Okay, so it's writing main.py file. Okay, so in between, let's walk through a Claude MD file. Let it build. So architecture is fine. This one is fine. Now, directory structure wise. So we always try to write a code in a modular fashion. Modular fashion means we try to separate everything in a different directories, right? Or sometime even in a different monorepos or repositories, by the way. So we try to, so that it will be easier for anyone and everyone to maintain, manage, and develop and ship the feature. So here directory wise, backend directory is there, frontend directory is there. So backend means everything belongs to a backend will sits in a this particular directory. Front-end means everything belongs to a front-end will sits over here, because you will end up creating multiple pages, multiple routes. So obviously you have to maintain and manage it as your product line will keep on increasing. For example, if you will go and check our Euron, right? So here it's not like just there is only one product. So yes, we have a courses and everything, but product-wise, UriChat, LLM API, Avni Mock, Lingua, interview preparation, internship, job, resume, talents, right? Lab, code, a lot of things are there, a lot of products are there. So obviously every product is having its backend, every product is having its front end. So we have to separate it, because as my product line will keep on increasing, and for to maintain and manage one product line, I will be having hundreds of files. So I have to basically maintain the directory structure, keeping a futuristic scope in a mind. Yes, keeping a futuristic scope in a mind. So here, directory structure we have created for script, seed, for load. This is not required. I mean, like, this will not go into prod. Scripts will not go into a prod. It is just for my local, so that I can run the script and then everything will execute. Seed is again for the very first time. So 50, data, sample data it is going to generate. Testing again, local, again, try to push it to the GitHub testing as well. The skills, this is a Claude. This is for Claude. Rules for Claude. Claude MD for Claude. I'll show you this files as well. So what has been done over here. So inside Claude file, Claude MD file, so all the structure will be mentioned inside a rule file. So all the rules will be mentioned, what it should do, what it should not do, right? And then inside the skill file, so basically how Claude is supposed to basically work, that has been defined. Restriction.md file. So what are the restrictions which I'm going to put on my AI agent, which is going to write my code, so that it should not hallucinate basically. A make file is a simple file. YAML, Docker, Compose YAML file is a maintaining multiple Docker front and back end. So now here coding rules is been written, right? AWS Terraform rules is been written, what it should do, what it should not do, backend rules, front-end rules, database rules, security, cross, all of these things. It has been written over here. Then maybe go to the skills and then laptop hub skills.md file. You will be able to check. Now this file is important. Even this file is important basically for my Claude. So where you can go and define that what it is supposed to use as a skill. So here, what it is doing. So how it is supposed to work basically with respect to this entire laptop hub product. This is what has been mentioned over here. So what is the API structure, inspect the module, create the schema, extend it, all these things is mentioned inside the skills file. Rule file, so rule will be mentioned. So basically architecture rule, so what it is supposed to use on what layer. Then cost rule, code rule, data rule, operations rules, everything is mentioned inside the rule file. And then restrictions. So what is a restriction? So what it can do and what it can't do, everything is been defined on a infra side over here, so that it will never go and hallucinate, and it should not spin something which is not required, or even it should not touch some other services which is already running in my account, in my cloud account, by the way, right? So this is this. Now let me check where we are. Okay, so now it is seeding a data. So it looks like it has completed my backend and front end. Okay, so app API, I believe V1 health laptop. Yeah, so it has created API, guys. Filter API, stats API, fine, slug laptop ID, with the help of that, then provider. Okay, so yeah, almost it's done. Almost done. Let me check the infra. No, infra it has not created so far. It has created just a front end, back end, and then it is trying to seed the data. It has not created even a front end pages so far. No, front end is also not done. Only back end is done so far. So it is going to create a front end, then infra, then run it and test it. Like these are the foundations for any app you build adding AI. Exactly, yes. Yeah, that's a foundation. That's a starting point. Anyone who is doing it with me? Anyone? Yes, Akshay is doing it. Okay, cool. Kausal is also doing it. Cool. So vibe coding is very, very powerful, but unless and until you as a human are not going to define in a very clear manner that what you are building, it is not going to work. And that happens on every layer, even on a business side. What kind of a feature I'm trying to develop, how my user will flow, basically how my business is going to happen. So all of these things as a business stakeholder you have to define. Again, on an infra level is just one time. So once that infra is set, it's set. You just have to work on the business then. Sir, where is the prompt you sent? Okay, so that Word file, right? I have sent it inside your group. So please go and check your WhatsApp group. It's available there. It's a very big file, so I can't drop it inside your Zoom. So in VS Code, I'm not using any Copilot model so far. If I want to use a Copilot model, should I want to subscribe or free? I will try. With the help of free one, you will not be able to build this one. Maybe one or two page max to max, but yeah, not this one. You will be able to do it. So it's always better to go ahead with the paid one if you are building seriously. If you're not building seriously, then why to waste money? Yeah. But yeah, if you are building seriously, then obviously, you have to go with the paid one. Nowadays, even all these providers, right? So they have reduced their free tier quota. They're not giving like a much in free tier. Previously, they were giving a lot, but now everyone has like reduced it. GitHub Copilot paid one. Yeah, I mean, like instead of using GitHub Copilot, it's better to use Codex or Claude. Even GitHub Copilot comes with a paid one. They have like a $10 subscription. I believe they have a $100 subscription as well. Yeah. So you can even try this GLM. You can try even a Quen. You can try basically like a Kimi K3. These are again the very best model, and cost wise, it's very very cheaper, and it's almost closer to Opus 4.8. I'm using Opus 4.5 by the way. So here, if I'll show you my model, so I'm using Opus 4.5. So Opus 5 I'm trying to use over here. My Favel credit is done for my account. So it is going to be resetted by 26th of August in next 3 days. So yeah, the next best model is Opus 5. Otherwise, I prefer to use Favel 5, which is literally lethal model they have released. Do we need to know the file structure in a case of debugging? Yeah, obviously you should know about the file structure, and it's not difficult to understand the file structure. See, backend means all the API, all the DB related things will go there, right? So even if you will come over here, backend, and let's say these are just a hidden files. So here, come inside the app. In every front end and backend, there will be either a SRC or there will be app, right? So let's say I'm coming inside the app, and now here, so there is a API folder. So all the APIs wise, everything will be defined here. All cores will be defined over here. All the DB based like a code will be defined over here. All the models based code will be defined over here. Repository based code, schema based code. So just by looking into these things, you will be able to understand that what is doing what. So it's not like a rocket science basically to understand. Same goes for even a front end. So if you will go inside a front end, right? If you'll go inside the front end, so I told you SRC folder, there is a index.html, which is like a starting point. So SRC folder, and again over here, so you will be able to find out their structure, and you will be able to find out basically different pages and their respective components. And here, if you'll try to understand the front end, it's not difficult. I'll give you a walkthrough, don't worry, about the front end as well. So if you understand Python, believe me, you will be able to understand this one also. It's very easy to understand. It's not at all a big deal. Because everywhere, if you look closely, right? So we are calling a function, and then we are calling like a API. API is coming from the backend, and then we are trying to provide the path to it. It's very easy, actually, very easy to understand. So wait and watch, guys, for next max to max 40 minutes. Within 40 minutes, if we are not going to face some literally big challenges, we'll be able to deploy it. We'll be able to get the link, and all of you will be able to test it. All of you can go and give a review for a laptop and everything. You can do it. And the best part is that so you can try to configure your Claude and your codecs, right? Even in your mobile, and you can connect via CLI, so you will be able to connect to your repository, and repository will be connected to your infrastructure. So let's say if you don't want to sit in front of your laptop, it's fine. So you can just keep on prompting inside a mobile devices, and from there you will be able to build and you will be able to ship the entire product. So that is also possible. Above that, you can even bring a automation in that one. So in my May batch, I'm going to teach that automation. So where let's say if your client wants some feature improvement or something, so you don't have to come and do a coding. It will try to pick from the client comment or feedback itself. Or let's say there is a bug, so if someone has raised the bug, so from that bug itself it will be able to pick automatically. It will go fix that bug or build that feature. Maybe human in loop, we can try to keep it in between the agents. And yeah, so it will be able to build it, so no human intervention is required. So we are going to learn that in a May batch. Even in your batch, when time will come, I'll be talking about that. So a complete like a autonomous development and a bug fixing without any kind of a human intervention once everything is set. How can I do from a mobile cloud just like prompting, or I need to open my desktop, open for that during a tablet? No, you don't have to open up your desktop at all. Everything from mobile and everything will be shipped. So you just have to connect your GitHub repository, the respective one in which you would like to work for the particular product, and then from a Cloud CLI mobile, you can keep on giving a prompt, and we'll keep on building it, keep on reporting you that okay, fine, this is fixed, this is fixed, this is fixed, this is built, this is built. So no laptop is required. Obviously at the time of setting up this entire repo, and if there is a new project, then for the very first time and to ship a first cut of the project, it's required. But yeah, beyond that, if I have to just fix the bugs, and if I have to build a small features, laptop is not required. With the help of Claude app, you will be able to access the Claude CLI. How I can do it? Please explain. I will explain you. Don't worry. I'll explain you how from your Android or iPhone, how you will be able to control the entire repository. So if you'll go to a Claude, you will be able to find out that it is available for Claude Code basically, right? Claude Code. So basically work with your Claude directly in your like a code base, build, debug or save from your terminal, ID, Slack, Bev and more. So here you will be able to find out. Just go to your like if you have a Android, then go to a Play Store. Otherwise, go to the App Store, and then from Play Store, App Store, you will be able to download this particular Cloud like application. I believe most of us have that application, and then from there, so basically we try to do a SSH inside our terminal, or we try to do basically a SSH in whatsoever repository where we are trying to keep our code, and that repository will be connected to the like uh, basically our uh, resources, AWS resources, Azure or GCP resources, and then we can just like from there itself we can keep on giving a prompt, and then it will be able to basically keep on building the product for me, just the way I'm doing it here. Even here I'm using CLI, right? So this is my CLI, Cloud CLI in my Windows. Similarly, I can do it in my with the help of like this Cloud Code in mobile, Android or iOS, both is available. Okay, so let me show you the live demo, guys. I was talking about this mobile, right? So let me stop sharing my screen, and I believe my mobile is visible. So let me show you that how it is working. So here, okay, here is a camera. So here you must be able to see the very first tab, and it's loading, right? It's loading. So basically, this is my desktop, and in this desktop, so we are like building a code, basically building a piece of code. So this is the one it is showing me there. Now, if I'm going to click on this one, and it's connected. So see, whatever is happening on my screen, on my desktop screen, so same thing you will be able to see it even over here. And then if I have to build a new feature, basically, so I'm remotely controlling my machine, and by CLI, technically I'm controlling it. And yeah, so whatsoever I'm trying to like build it with the help of this one, I will be able to like give a prompt even from here, and I will be able to build it. So I don't have to sit over here and then keep on prompting it. So I can just go out, hang out, and then I can keep on giving a prompt, and system, it will keep on building the systems. And it's very easy. What you have to do, let me tell you. So let's say in this desktop, so I have used a cloud account and I have done the login. Now with the same account, you have to log in over here, and then what you have to do in your like application, on left hand side you will be able to see a code option. So here is a code option that you are able to see. So you just have to click on this code option, and then it will be able to connect remotely. This is how easy it is. Sign up account should be same in this one and this one both. That's the only requirement that you have. It will be able to do SSH by default. Make sense, everyone? Yeah. So from here also, I can try to like print it, and I can see everything, which is whatever is happening in my this machine, right? In my desktop, I'm able to see everything in this device as well. So yeah, technology is really cool and it's very good, right? I can accept, I can reject, I can stop this entire process from there itself. If I have to build some new feature, what I will do, I'll just come, I will just I'll just give a command and do it. Experimented that one, sir. It's really cool. Yeah, I mean, like, you have freedom basically. You don't have to sit in front of laptop or carry your laptop. Your mobile is everything, and everything is getting built from here. I use these things a lot, by the way. So if someone says in some of the group that we need this feature. So nowadays, what I do, instead of asking my developer, because we have a development team, and instead of asking this developer, what I do, all the repositories I have connected and I have logged in. So I simply like give a command from here, done. I don't have to go and log in anywhere, like just from here. Everything can be done. Okay, so Kaushal is saying repository build this is fine, and today's class too interesting. Mine is done from the Claude code generation. Okay, okay. So yours is done. So like try to basically host it. So you have to set your AWS CLI, and then after that, so you have to set your keys. Mine is not done. I'll show you how to do that. Yeah, so development is, I mean, like people who just write a code, they are not having a values. So people who build a product, who understand a business, who understand the market, who understand the feature, who understand a flavor, who understand the UI, UX, UXR, right? So who understand the agent, who understand RAGs, basically, who understand all the LLM stack. So those kind of who understand algorithms as well, which one to pick, which one not to pick. Those kind of a peoples are required, and those people will be the only relevant people you will be able to see in next 1 to 2 years. I think we are able to see it even now. I mean, like we don't have to wait for next 2 year. It's not future; it's a present now. But yes, on a mass scale, you will be able to see it. So you should never say that I don't do this, I can't do this, I have never done that. No, everything is possible. It's just a thought process mindset. Just go explore. expand it, and piece by piece, do it. Okay, it is writing my infra. It seems, yeah, infra code. Hmm. So it has written so many infra code basically for me. Okay, so looks like still is building. So in a VS Code, we have all set up. Still, we need to download app like a Codex, anti-gravity, separately. No, you don't have to download. Like just launch in a CLI. Yeah, so you don't have to download anything. So Kausal is asking me what why your task is taking time. Mine is done is due to context of your Claude, and yeah, because of context and task which I have given. Yes, yeah. So I'm building more. So because of that, it is taking time. It's almost done. Now it's trying to create a readme file, as you can see. So it always try to create a readme file in a last page. As of now, it is not trying to spin the infra. Infra it is going to spin once I'm going to ask. As of now, it is just trying to prepare everything in my local. My GitHub is not connected. So my code is in a local as of now. It's not available anywhere. It is just writing all the code, infra, and everything. So code may differ from a different cloud account. Yeah, it may differ. Generally, what we do, so we try to talk about we try to basically take our features, not like a code wise. So we always try to consider that as in terms of features. So let's suppose I have built it, and then let's say I'm going to give you a GitHub access of this one, and everything is set. Cloud MD is set, rule is set, a skill file is set, what we have to build, everything is set. So now my like a colleague or any developer who is working in the same project, so they will try to take pull from the repository, and then feature wise they will start developing it. So obviously code is going to be like different for the very first time. Let me check my local Docker. So yes, it has created a image of Redis and a PG. And yes, my container is also up and running in my local system. I can even check the cost basically. So far, how much like API token it has consumed. So I can go and I can check and what is the cost for that. So far to build this project, it has costed me $28 on actual, and it has written 12,469 of a code so far, right? And it has used basically Haiku, and it has used Opus. Opus is the main model for output, as you can see over here. Almost 95% I have consumed for this particular week. So if this will be over, then I have to log in to a different account. Then only I will be able to complete this task. Which subscription plan you are using? $200. Hopefully, in my remaining 5% of my quota, I will be able to complete this project. I'm just hoping. Let's see. Could you please clarify how the assignment we submit for evaluation are reviewed? So see, in our assignment, we have two parts. So let's say there is a coding part if you are going to submit. So in that case, we have built a AI agent, so which is going to take a pull and then it is going to evaluate against a task. And if you are submitting your videos, then there is a human so who try to review your videos and then they give a feedback. So one feedback for with respect to a code and files comes from a AI, and like a video feedback comes from a human. This is how we do a evaluation. So manual plus AI both. Yeah. So basically, the feedback that you are receiving, right, that some file are missing. So basically, that is a feedback coming from AI. So we have set our AI in such a manner that against a task, it is going to check all the standard approach, and by following that standard approach, so it is going to give you a feedback that this is missing or that is missing. Any other question, guys? Anything that comes in your mind? So please feel free to ask. We have a time. AI is doing its job, so we can discuss if you have any thoughts in your mind. Feel free to ask me. Is vibe coding extensively used in industry? Okay, let me give you an answer in this manner. I wanted to show you something. Now read out this one. Anthropic leader report that manual coding is largely obsolete inside the industry, with the AI agent handling a task like a writing, testing, and deployment. So everything has been automated. Again, so Anthropic CTO Rahul Patil noted that roughly 80% of the company's code is touchless, managed via automated agent workflow. That's a reality. So everywhere now in any company, any product-based company, any service-based company where they are maintaining, managing, or developing any kind of a product, whether it's a startup, whether it's a like mid-size, a well-funded startup, maybe a unicorn, or maybe a enterprise grade, a system. For example, Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, Crew, or maybe like SpaceX, everywhere, right? Everywhere extensively, day and night, literally day and night, people are using just vibe coding. Yeah. Can we apply for a job side by side, or we will wait for a completion of this great practical course? After third month, basically. After third month, I'm going to ask you that, Because by that time we'll be having a lot of knowledge with respect to AI, agentic AI, RAG system, evals basically with respect to agentic RAG or with respect to a AI. We'll be having a lot of information even with respect to infrastructure. Right, we have just started with the infrastructure, so again there are a lot to learn even on that particular side, on deployment side, on a scalability side, on a security side basically. So more or less by third month you will be having all of these understanding in terms of practical, I would say. Plus even we'll be having an understanding that how to approach to a new project or maybe how to work in an existing one. Then you will feel confident and you will be having a project to write into your resume. After that you can start applying for the job. In between, just try to work on your profile. When I say profile, it simply means that things that you can try to showcase your communication skill, your basically you know analytical skills basically. Just try to build your audience, maybe like 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 10,000 people must be aware about you. And then you can start applying for not just a permanent opportunity, but you can also start applying for a freelancing just for fun, right? Just for fun. Because by that time you will be able to understand how to even prepare a proposal for any client. So let's say if you would like to get some sort of a freelancing project, right? So obviously you have to send a proposal, you have to mention the tech stack, you have to mention the architecture, you have to even drill down on a feature side, what you can build which others will not be able to build it to win that particular project. So you will be having all of this idea in a practical manner, and then you can feel free to start applying for the consulting job, freelancing job, permanent job, all of these things. So then I'm going to ask you that go and start applying for all kind of a job, and let's see what kind of opportunity is going to come. What project or portfolio and CV or job after this course? Not after this course, during many project we are going to do it. We'll not wait for like completion. Obviously, at the end we have to do a project, but we'll not wait for that end. Okay, so everything is done, it looks like. So let me check what it has built. So backend find has tested, linting it has tested. Terraform pass, Terraform plan. This is done. This is done. This is done. This is done. And then remaining manual setup that I have to do it. So first of all, I have to do a GitHub setup so that it will be able to push a code to a GitHub repository. So I'll do one thing. So I'll go and I'll try to create a GitHub repository. So let me go to my profile of a GitHub and then a repository, and then let me create one new repository, a public one. I'm going to create it so that all of you will be able to take a pull from there. Will you stay in touch after the completion? Even after many, many years, I will be in touch. That's the reason we have a group. So don't worry about that. Can you explain FDs and its course all about completion? Yeah, I'll be talking about it. Yes, FDs. Let me create a repository quickly so that we can talk, and then in between AI agent will do this job. So here auto deployment is a repository name on AWS. I'm going to create. Let's keep it public. And my repo is already connected to my local. So I just have to give this remote branch, and then everything will be done by agent itself. So get GitHub, find git deploy repository Terraform, this optional to make this one. And then note your CLI default region is AP South, but the provider variable this one. Okay. So this is my remote GitHub repository. So try to push the code and then start doing a CI/CD. And yeah, so you have all the approval to touch my infrastructure. But try to do each and everything in a separate region, in a US East one region. Build it, deploy it, and then give me a final link so that I will be able to go and test it with a final deployed link. Okay. So I have just given my remote repository over here. And then this CLI which I'm trying to use, so I have already logged into my basically AWS. To log in into an AWS, let me show you something, how you will be able to log in. So GitHub is fine. Yes, everyone. GitHub we all can create. Yeah. And you just have to give a remote repository and your CLI must be connected. So if CLI is not connected, so just log in once and then leave it, right? So it must be logged in so that it will be able to access. Now coming to the AWS part, let me log in and show you what is required for AWS login, because many of you must not be aware about it for the very first time if you are doing it. So here is my AWS. Let me log into my AWS root account. So my AWS. This is my ID, and here is my password. Then it will ask me for MFA. Let me enter the code. Okay. So now I'm able to log in into my AWS account. Now, for the very first time, when you will log in into the AWS account, so what you have to do? So in your local system or in your CLI, let me go to Google, AWS CLI. So basically, whatever system that you are using, so whether you are trying to use a Windows or Mac or any other system, so you have to install a AWS CLI in your local system, just like you install Git, right? So in the similar manner, you have to install basically a CLI. Installation is very easy. It's not at all difficult, and it's available for Linux, Mac, and Windows machines. So if I have to install that for a Windows machine, so maybe I can try to like run this command, or maybe I can try to basically download the installer, and with the help of installer, I will be able to install it. Same goes for your Mac machine, same goes for your Linux machine. So command is already given to you. Just go run this command, and then it will be able to install AWS CLI. Now, AWS CLI is basically an interface which has been created by AWS so that from any system, you will be able to connect to your AWS account by using your ID and password. Yeah. So you have to install AWS CLI in a very first place. If CLI is not available, it is not going to basically work. So go ahead, guys, and do the installation of AWS CLI. Then I'll tell you the next step, how to create a user ID and password. Basically, IAM. Quickly, everyone. So if I'll show you my system, so this is a code, this is a place where it is running the code. Let me open up new terminal. And here, if I'm going to search AWS -version version. So it is going to show me a version. It simply means that AWS CLI is installed inside my system. If you are going to write the same thing, AWS version, so maybe it will give you like something like, I'm not able to understand AWS command. So what you're talking about basically. So it simply means that CLI is not available. Means from your local system, you will not be able to connect. Not even you, not even your agent will be able to connect to a AWS account. So CLI is must. You have to have install a CLI inside your system. So if you are trying to use a Windows machine, just go over there and then try to download. Let me ping you this link in a chat. So yeah, download this one for a Windows machine. If you have a Mac or if you have a Linux machine, then simply go over here, follow the steps. Where is my CLI? Okay. So here you will be able to find out just like one line of code for the installation in any machine, and quickly you will be able to do a installation. It will not take back more than 1 or 2 minutes of time. And then you can try to check AWS version, and if it is going to show you AWS version, then you are good to go with the next step. Now, once AWS CLI is available, once AWS CLI is installed, then here you should come and you should set your password basically. So you should basically set your access. Without that, you will not be able to log in into basically like a AW or it system will not be able to basically log in into your AWS account. Now, to do that, there is a command called as AWS configure. So AWS CONFIGURE configure. So by the time I'm going to hit my AWS configure, now it is asking me for AWS access key ID. Then it is going to ask me for an access key secret. Then it is going to ask me for a reason, right? So these are the things I have to arrange in a very first place. How I will be able to arrange, let me show you that step as well. So what I will do, I'll go to my AWS account. Just watch this step, guys, because this is one time job, right? This is just a one time job to do a setup. So here you can come and you can try to search for IAM, identity and access management. Yesterday in my sheet I have written that, right? So just try to search for IAM. So click on IAM. Yeah. And this is on an account level basically. So IAM is not a region specific, IAM is on an account level. So this is my account, so account level. So I can go over here, and on your left hand side you will be able to see a tab called as IAM user. So click on this IAM user, and then you can try to come over here, and then you can try to create a user. So click over here and then give a username. So for example, I'm giving a username as KUSHAL, Kausal, right? This is the username which I have given. And provide user access to a AWS management console. Fine. I can just try to check, or maybe like even without that, it's completely fine. Then I can click on next, add user to the group. So here we have already created a group. So where this group is having a administrative permission. So I can attach that. Otherwise, I can try to copy a permission from anyone who is a existing user, right? So I can try to copy. So here, so the experiment is already a user who is having a administrative access, or I can try to attach a policy. So for you, it will be very, very simple. If you're doing it for the very first time, just try to click on the last one, attach policy. And then here, so just try to select administrative access. So it simply means that it is having all the access. It can touch anything and everything in your account, by the way, right? So administrative access, just give administrative access to this one. If it requires, then you can try to even set basically like a ECR ECS kind of access. Everything you will be able to search. ECS you will be able to search over here. So Amazon ECS full access you can try to give. ECR you can try to search over here. And then for ECR you will be able to give an access. You will be able to give an access for a S3 bucket as well, right? S3 bucket as well. So S3 file client full access, S3 Express full access, so whatsoever. So there are so many access policy which has been already defined by AWS for all the services. So if I want a user, let's say in my development team, right? So I don't want them to access all the services. Means I don't want to give them a administrative permission. So what I want, they must be able to get maybe some ECR access, ECS access, just a S3 access, right? Again, in S3 access read write permission, I can try to define. So everything I will be able to control, and I will be able to control it with the help of policy. So while creating that particular user, I can just attach that policy to that particular user, and it is going to work for me. Make sense? What is the meaning of IAM? What is the meaning of setting up the permission? Yes? Yeah. So I can just go over here, and then I can basically attach all of these permissions to this particular user. Click on next. It is that easy. It is. So I have attached two permission over here. So admin access, ECS full access I have given in this particular place. And then I can click create user. So now the user which I have created, which is a Kaushal, right? This user which I have created. So now this user will be able to access each and everything, because I have already attached it. Now, how this user will be able to access? Because user is something which I have created. I'm the admin. I'm the admin of this account. So I have created this user, but how Kausal will be able to access? That's a question, right? So how Kausal will be able to access? I can click on Kausal, right? And then I can try to share basically this, here, maybe I can go and I can try to create a security credential. For example, there are multiple ways. So one way is whether I want Kausal to log in into a UI interface or not. So Kausal can log in through a UI interface, and the way I'm able to see this UI interface, Kausal will be able to see the UI interface. But for only for those services for which I have given him a permission. It's not like he will be able to access entire AWS account. No, not possible, right? So whatsoever permission which I have attached, only with that permission, he or she will be able to access the account. That's a part number one. How? So I have to share this basically URL. This is basically a URL. So here in this URL, if you will observe, this is your account ID. Where you will be able to see the account ID? Just right hand side, top corner. This is my account ID, right? So your account ID. So this is a URL just to log in your account, means my account. And from my account, if I'm giving access to Kausal, to Soumya, to Satvik, to V, to anyone, right? So anyone and everyone will be able to access it. So here I have not enabled it. So if I want Kausal to access a UI with the help of this one, so in that case, I have to enable the console access, and then I can create a password for him. For example, 1234, something like that password I have created. So what I will do, I'll just share this password and this URL and ID with Kausal. So now Kausal will be able to access and log in into the UI interface. That's one way. Another way is basically with the help of access key. So here, with the help of access key, you will be able to log in through that black screen, the CLI, right? The CLI. So for example, I was trying to show you this one. So here it is looking for AWS access ID through CLI. It is looking for that. So where I will be able to create this access ID. So in the AWS access key. So here create access key, one click. Then first option, command line interface, CLI, right? Check this option next, and then create access key. Now here it is able to create an access key. So you just have to copy this access key and paste it over here. Yeah, paste it over here. So whatsoever access key that you have created, you have to just paste it over here, right? And then it will be looking for a secret access key. Where is the secret access key? This one. This one you have to copy, and then this one you have to paste it. That's it, right? So now your CLI is having your AWS account access. You don't have a UI access. You have a via CLI, you have an account access. And agent will be using the same CLI to log in. Make sense, guys? Yes. So you just need the access key and access secret. That's it. That's the only thing which is required. So maybe I'll just go and quickly delete this user. Configured, fine. And that's a one-time process. If you're using the same account, if you're using different account, then again you have to do AWS or if there is a different user you have created, then same AWS config. It will give you the steps and then set it up. So now let's see what is happening here. So CI is fully green. Let me go and check my GitHub repo. So yes, code is available, guys. So all this code, it is able to push it inside my remote. So whatsoever is available in my local with architecture and everything, beautifully, it is able to push it, right? Everything is available now inside my GitHub repository. Now I can share my GitHub repository with all of you, and even you will be able to take a pull out of this one. What we use policy after giving an admin access? Nothing. If someone is having admin access, simply means that everyone is having like a your entire account access. They can access all the services selectively. If I would like to give one of the access, then I have to select that policy, and it's already like defined. So just go select, check, done. So now if I'll go and check my actions, so yeah, it has failed initial command this. So CI, fine, deploy, it has failed. Let me check why it has failed, and obviously my agent will work on that. Credential could not be loaded. Please check your action input. Could not load the credential from any provider. Okay, fine. ECR push in progress. Fine. It is able to push that in a ECR. Exactly as expected. CI is fully green. All 4 job, including a Docker health smoke test deploy, failed only at OIS DC level step because AWS Sura doesn't exist. Fine. Now it is pushing it. Okay. So GitHub and AWS CLI is the only setup that you have to do in your local and connect your account. Then everything is done. I can go in the region. So basically, I have asked my system to deploy it in a US East one. US East, I think, yeah, one. So let me go in a East one region and let me check whether I have ECR or not. Generally, it takes 15-20 minutes of time. No, it has not created any. Okay, it has created ACR, guys. See, in my US East one region. So yes, it is already in progress. So it is able to push my images. My Docker image is available over here. It's still pushing, I believe. Yeah, it's still pushing. It has created a repository. So it is able to reach out to my account. Done. Any confusion? Any doubt? Anyone? Anyone who is having any doubt? Not yet. Cool. Push is still uploading. Let me wait for it properly. Okay. I can see that it has created the repository, but there is no image inside the repository, Docker image. Every region has all the service available? No. It will CLI setup done. Cool. Now your agent will be able to pick it from there. Prashant is saying what next to run command, run this command CLI IRM. So Prashant, what is your machine? Is it a Windows or Mac or like a Linux? Okay, Windows, right? Let me give you the command. So basically, go over here on this link, the link which I'm pinging you, and from this link, download. So just click on this link, it will download. Now, once it will be able to download, for example, in my machine, it is able to download this one. Double click, and then it will start installing. Once it will be installed, restart your VS Code or maybe just try this out. So after that, just try to write a command AWS config, the command which I have written. So first of all, check whether AWS is available or not after installation. If it is available, if it is showing you some version, so then AWS config. Sir, can you please tell GitHub how to set up GitHub? Git basically you try to do a setup, not GitHub. GitHub is a cloud version. Git is an underlying technology for a versioning. GitHub is a cloud one. So where on a cloud you do a versioning. So first of all, you have to install a Git in your local system. Now to install a Git, simple, go to Google and Git download. It is going to give you a download option for all the machines. So see, Windows, Mac, and Linux. So basically, you can come over here, click over here if you have a Windows machine. Mac command is already given, brew install git. For Linux, command is also given. So apt get install git. So you have to install a git in a local. GitHub is a company name who is providing you a version management service on cloud. And basically, like GitHub, there is a Bitbucket. Uh, and there are many more other companies who is providing you the similar kind of a services. So do not get confused between Git and GitHub. Okay, let me go and check whether it has pushed my image or not. Refresh. No, not yet. Prashant, agar argument command found invalid choice config, maybe you meant configure. Configure actually, configure. See, I have written a command AWS configure. This is the command AWS configure. So use AWS configure. It will give you a pop-up. So it is going to ask you for access ID. So you can create your access ID, paste it. Then secret access key, just beside access ID, you will be able to see a secret access key, paste it. Then you can select a region or maybe leave it and then enter. Administrative access, AWS Elastic and AWS access. Yes, that is a policy you have to select for a particular user with which you are doing a CLI login, Kaushal. Access key. Okay, let me show you once again how you can generate the access key. So are you able to create a user, Prashant? So just do one thing. Log in into your AWS account and search for IAM, right? Identity and access management. Now, this is where you will be able to create a user. So on your left hand side, you will be able to see a tab called as IAM user. Are you able to see that tab? IAM user tab? Yes. Prashant, click over here. Now here you will be able to see an option create user. So for example, Prashant, right? So you are creating a user for yourself. So just give a name Prashant, Prashant. Username you have given. Now click on next. Now next means user you are trying to create, but what kind of a permission that user will be having, that you have to also set, because there are so many services, more than 200-300 services are available, 300 plus services are available, and again inside that again there is a lot of permissions, read write kind of a permission, execute kind of a permission. So what you have to do, so the user that you are trying to create, so you have to assign a permission to that user, so that with the help of that user's ID and password, you can do something, or even your agents will be able to do something. So there are three options. Just click on last option, attach policy directly. Now here, if you'll come and search, you will be able to see admin access. Check this out. Maybe ECS, right? So ECS full access, check this out. If you would like to give some other accesses, check this out, and then you can try to click on next. When you are going to click on next, so these are the two permission that you are giving to Prashant, the user that you are trying to create, and then click on create user. So Prashant as a user will be created. So see, in my user list, I'm able to see basically Prashant, right? Yeah. So Prashant. Now click on this user, the user that I am user that you are able to see, Prashant. Now I'm going to click over here, and then there is a tab called as security credentials. So user you have created, and permission you have allocated. Permission you can allocate even in a later stage. That is also possible. So see permission policy. So I can come anytime and I can try to add permission. Same method, same way, right? So now Prashant as a user is been created. Now Prashant has to log in, right? Through CLI or through this UI interface in any way. So that you will be able to control from your security credential tab. So go to your security credential tab, and here console login option. I don't want that one. I want an access key, because this is going to ask you, your CLI is going to ask you for the access key, this access key, right? So here you will go and you will try to click on create access key. You will select a first option, command line interface. Check this confirmation and then click next. Again, click next. Your key is created, your secret is created. That's it. So you have to copy this one, paste it inside your CLI. Then it will give you the next option. Copy this and paste it over there. Now your CLI means your local system will be able to log in and will be able to access your AWS account. Done. That's a process. Very simple process, guys. Very simple. I mean, just managing a user, creating a user ID password. That's it, right? Okay. Prashant as a user is deleted. So you have to give two access. One is a GitHub access, and one is basically your cloud account access. Same goes for GCP. Same goes for Azure. So you will install a GCP CLI. You will install basically Google Console. You will install, and you will install Azure CLI. And again, you will give a permission. Done. Let me check whether it has pushed or not. So ECR. Mhm. Still, it's waiting for an image. So this is just a one-time job, guys. So once you are able to connect, right? So everything and anything, even if there will be an error, even if there will be a blocker, with the help of agent, you will be able to resolve it. Once you are able to connect your local GitHub and your AWS, right, from this local system, then everything is done. Obviously there will be an error, obviously there will be an issue in our deployment in terms of management, but at the end of the day everything is controllable from here itself, and your agent will be able to control each and everything. Okay, so it is telling me that upload is very slow, 184 kilobytes per second uplink, and image size is 87 MB. So because of my internet, once image will be here, right, it will not take much time. It will take a pull of this image inside a ECS Fargate and spin the Fargate. Generally, Fargate takes 8 to 10 minutes of time for the very first time to instantiate. I use by the way, yeah, you can use that also. Anyhow, if agent is active and the task is in its context, right, it will complete it. You can use by the way to ask you some side question so that it can fire some, like, parallel agent for that task. Between- How to change region, because in my account US East 1 it's not clickable. So maybe you don't have permission. So in whatever region you have permission, just do that, give that region for now. And then you can raise a ticket, basically. So there is a AWS support. They will give you like a form kind of a structure. You can go and fill that form if you need some additional resources, or if something is not accessible to you but you would like to access it in that case. So they will check your account and then they will give you the access. You must be able to see some default regions. Just use that region. Last Friday, I go for an interview. They asked, explain me the complete deployment process, how to deploy. I'm not able to give answer. Okay. That was a basic question. No, sir, I'm work on desktop April. I mostly work on desktop. Okay. Desktop application. Got it. Got it. So there was a issue, guys. It has reported with respect to a deployment. So now it is again trying to like process it. Get it done, sir. Okay, cool. Even you can take a pull from my GitHub repository. Let me share this GitHub link. So this is my repo. And here now you can see the whole architecture, how things are going to move, how things are going to actually work, and the flow. So how from browser it will be able to get a request, and what and all layers will come into picture, like a ALB layer, S3 layer, CloudFront layer, fast API layer. And then this is my deployment flow. So you will be able to observe basically a deployment flow as well. CI is completed, but deployed backend blue green credential could not be loaded. Please check your action input. Could not load a credential from provider. So check your AWS CLI and set a credential once again. Or just run this command. This command will give you basically like whether your credential has been set or not. So run this command. AWS STS. If it is giving you user ID, account, and ARN, it simply means that it's set. So ask your agent to use it, and then basically do a deployment. If this is giving you a blank, then set it up. Just fire a command AWS configure and then pass your ID and keys. This require a Claude paid account. Yeah, this much of coding required a Claude paid account because no one is giving you this much of token limit in any places. So if you are building like I said, so if you are literally building on a serious note, then you need it. No, max account is not required. Even with $20, I think you will be able to build multiple such kind of application. But in our job, so obviously we need $200 because we keep on running these agents day and night. Okay, so approximately 10 to 14 minutes, my RDS and CloudFront will be done. And once this will be done, now it's looks like it is working. In some time, yeah. So my image has landed. See, so this is my Docker image. So my Docker image has landed. So fine, I can use this. So basically, my ECS is going to use this Docker image. This is my ECR. This is my repository. So from here, my ECS will be able to pick. So let me go and check my ECS whether it has started or not. So ECS is basically a compute service, as we have written inside our slide. So yeah, even ECS has created this cluster. Yeah. As of now, it's not running. So in some time, it will be up and running. So Fargate is a ECS service type we are using. Fargate is basically a serverless, means a big compute. Active, zero running, zero pending. So it has not started the task. Services basically. So once it will start, I will be able to see it here. And then my application will be live. In between, so it is creating my yeah, RDS. So I can go and check RDS, which is my DB database. As of now, there is no DB it has created, so it will create in some time. Okay, guys. So another 10, 15, 20 minutes, let's say. Yeah. In 20 minutes, everything will be live. Can we have our dinner? So yeah, you can have your dinner. It's fine. I'm just waiting for this. This will be done in like a next max to max 10 minute. 12 minute is saying me a report back live link soon as long as approximately 12 minute, because there was an issue with the configuration which it has resolved. So I can see that there was an issue with the Postgres version which it has kept it inside the Terraform file before, and then it has rectified that one, and then again it has just pushed the changes, and it has started doing a deployment. So yeah, everything looks fine. So now see, yeah, this was missing, so it was not able to create a DB basically. So now it has created a DB as well. So DB is done. My ECS is done. ECR was already done. So yeah, now ECS is also active. See, so as of now, zero running. So once like it will start running some task, at least one task, then we can see, we can check it. So everything is like seems to be up and running one by one. And my blue green is running by the way. So backend is fine. Container name port backend, and that is like a target group. Load balancer is also fine. Yeah. So now everything is like going live one by one. So this is just a first time job. I mean, like once my entire infra is set, from second time onwards, I don't have to wait for this much. I'll just build a feature, push it, build feature, push it, and automatically deploy it because CI/CD is been built. My blue green line is built, so even my user will not face any kind of a disturbance. It will keep on switching. So just a one time job. This infra setup. Now I just have to keep on building things in my local from my mobile or from my laptop, from my desktop, and keep on like a code will keep on pushing itself from here local to GitHub to cloud. Amazing, right? All automated without writing anything. So we are literally living in a very different world. Anyone is here? Yes. Okay. Cool. Blue green, I'll explain you. Don't worry. So I'll explain you multiple deployment pipelines. So there are like 10 to 12 pipeline, different pipeline which I use to like discuss, because in an interview people are going to ask you a question. So whenever they will try to talk about a deployment, right? So blue green candidate deployment. So all of these things they are going to ask you, plus a rollback. Many more things comes even with respect to a deployment. So theoretically you have to understand, and then in a practical manner I'll show you. After deployment complete, how to shut down the infra so that the billing may not continue. I'll just give an command to my agent saying that whatsoever you have spent for this project, so it will try to take a reference from a Terraform and it will kill everything. So even to close or even to terminate all my infra that I have spent for this project, I will be using agent and Terraform. So see, it has in a beginning itself. So if you remember, I have given a command to build a destroy instance as well. So here is a destroy script which it has already written. So this is also ready. You can manually go and execute this destroy script, or you can just ask your agent to like execute it, and it is going to execute it. Yeah, only for this product. So everything it is going to destroy one by one, and like your account will not get any kind of a billing. In AWS console from where I can verify manually. Okay. So one by one, you have to go service wise, and then only you will be able to verify in AWS. For example, uh, I think now it's active. Yeah. So for example, what you have used in your system. Yeah. So what you have used. So basically you have used a database. So there is a database you will be able to see inside your RDS. You have used basically a ECR, and then ECS you have used. So just go and check your ECR and ECS. So you will be able to see a cluster over here. So this is something that you have to destroy. You have used a S3 bucket. So you have to destroy that as well. You have used a CloudFront basically. So you have to go and destroy that as well. You have used actually CloudWatch. So search CloudWatch, and then you will be able to see CloudWatch in a particular region, right? In a region. or like from wherever you are trying to spin. So you have to go and even check there and destroy that one. So manually, one by one, the services that you have used, you have to go and then you have to destroy it. In one place, you will not be able to see it in AWS. They're very smart. You can try to create your own window and then you can keep on tagging it. This is what people do it, like, to keep track of each and everything. But AWS is very smart, so they will finally give you a bill, and in that it will be mentioned. Recently, this is basically a recent visited window. So in one place you will be able to see what you have visited recently. But if you have not visited, then I mean, like, you have to go and do it one by one. So it's better to go and destroy each and everything in a auto mode. Still, it is taking some time, but yeah. So there is a service called as, so let's say estimation wise, if I would like to understand, uh, let me copy this link. And there is something called as RESO Resource Explorer in a region, particular region, basically. So yeah, you can go and you can try to check from here that what and all resources are running in a particular region. So you can try to apply even a filter operation region wise, so that it is going to show you. So leave the global part, only try to select the region wise. So in my, like, east one, security group is running attached to EC2, network is running, CloudWatch is running, Elastic IP is running, security group. This is not going to give you cost, by the way. So everything is not basically going to give you a cost. The actual resources is going to give you basically a cost. So a routing table is running, security group rule is running, network interface is running, routing table is available, subnet is available, security group is available, again routing table. So there are so many things which is running in my system. So this is the information that you will be able to get max to max. But as you can see, it is like a very confusing. So you can even go and view from the region wise. So in this region only, US East region. So what is something which is running? So as of now, the current one is in a US East one. No, so I can't see. I just see like a US East one, and then click on Explore Resources. So it is messy and very confusing. Explain agents can do this. Need to understand what. I'm not able to get the point. So looks like everything is live. Write a path. This. Get yes. Everything is live, guys. So let's go and get a glimpse of our application. So finally, oh, HTTPS. So this is my laptop explorer. Let me ping you this link to all of you. So now it's deployed. It's live. And the very first glimpse of our website we are able to see. I think it's an amazing website that it has built. I can go here and I can check our details. Amazing way. It is showing me the details. It has already feeded some of the data. I can go here. I can try to give a rating. I can try to do something that I want. And yes, everything is up and running and working. Finally, right? So AI always works, right? Now, on top of this, I can keep on building more and more and more and more feature. So in a first cut itself, isn't it amazing, guys? This is the first cut. Yeah, this is just a first cut. Can I say it's amazing? Yep, just a first cut. It's very amazing, right? So basically, I'm able to do a filtration. So many things it has basically like built in a very amazing manner, right? And the amazing part is like deployment is done. My pipeline is created. So in the same time, let's say if I'm going to spend 3 more hour of time on this project, right? Deployment, everything is done. Believe me, I will be able to build more than 200, 300 feature, starting from a login, and then like auth I will be able to integrate over there. RAG I will be able to integrate over there. AI agents I will be able to integrate over there. Payment gateway I will be able to integrate over there. Email I will be able to integrate over there. My WhatsApp configuration I will be able to do it over here. Support system for my user I will be able to build over here in next 3 hour only. It doesn't require like as per my experience, it will take only next 3 hour for me to build another 150 or 200, because this is the first cut. Everything is set, which takes like most of the time for any one of us. And again, we are able to cut short that time. All thanks goes to our EAC Terraform. Because just imagine, so you need a front end engineer, you need a back end engineer, you need a ops engineer to spin this project, and they will take maybe a month of time just to spin this one, just to set this up, basically. And yeah, it's done. I think in last hardly 2.5 hour. I think 8:34 was the time when we have started, right? So 8:34, and now it's a 10:55. 2.5 hour max, right? And the major part is like backend is set, basically, right? My backend is set, my cloud front is set, my like a CDN is set, my everything is set, which is a base for any big application, right? On top of this, I can just keep on building it. Amazing, right? So yes, this is what the power of AI is. We will build more and more and more, right? I'll teach you the actual way of using AI and building things. So everything is running up and running. You can go and you can check my AWS account. You can't check it unless you don't have access. But yeah, so everything is up and running. I can see it, my ECS, my ECR, my databases, right? My cloud front, basically, my cloud watch, everything. Everything means literally everything is up and running and working, basically. So now I'll go and I'll terminate it. So now do one thing. So destroy all the resources that you have used for this particular application. Before that, so it has not just given me this one. Let me show you a couple of more things. So API endpoint, right? So all the APIs are available over here. So I can go and then I will be able to check all my API endpoint in this particular place. So here slash laptop slash mm, 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 mm. It's a fast API, right? So I'm just trying to let me check Swagger. Yeah, so this is what I was looking for, Swagger UI. It has already given me a Swagger UI link. So I can go and I can try to check what an all API endpoint it has created. So see, backend wise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So total 10 API endpoint it has created. I will create more and more as I will try to increase the features. So all of these APIs I'm able to watch, I'm able to observe. I will be able to test an API directly from here itself, the way we have been testing it, right? So we have already gone through those classes and we know that how we can test an API. And yeah, so we can just go and test it from my local system from here, and everything is in prod. So prod system, I will be able to test it. Repo wise, I have already given you repo. Dashboard wise, I will be able to go and I will be able to check my dashboard as well. So where with the help of CloudWatch, I will be able to monitor all the resources. So everything will be under control and I will be able to watch it. Make sure that you are going to destroy a resources only for this particular project in only this region. Do not touch any other project. Fine. So in some time it will be able to destroy. So technically it will call this destroy sh and then it will destroy amicably each and everything. So that's it, guys. That's it. A power of like a vibe coding and how we can build a things in a real time live end to end till deployment. So once you are going to do this process, maybe with 4 project, 5 project, 6 project, right? Believe me, you will get used to it. And after that, there is no stopping point. So you just have to do it 5, 6 times. That's it, right? 5, 6 times. Like I said, So underlying configuration is not going to change. You will just add. You will add AI agent. You will add RAG. You will add LLMs over there. So you will keep on adding it. The infrastructure that we have defined, it is going to be same. On top of that, you will add just new feature. Yeah, got little confidence now. Build 5 6 project, a small one. Yeah, only website one, but follow the process. See, you will be able to generate a website even from lovable emergent, but no, basically you should not go ahead with that, because in any real time project, this is the pipeline you have to create. So it's not about what you are building in a very first place, it's about setting up the entire infrastructure, then you start building on top of that, right? So everything is set, the pipeline is set, now start building feature, and then your project will grow, and you will, like, end up adding new features on top of that. Yeah, need to understand exactly how AI agents actually works. Okay, is it? Fine. I'll explain you when we'll come to a AI agents part. Recently, I have discussed in my May batch. In last 3 classes, we were just talking about AI agents. So yeah, even in your class, when time will come, so I'll be talking about that. So now those people are able to understand AI agent in very depth. This May batch people, right? So again, even your batch will do the same thing. So fine, guys. Hope we are able to see something amazing. Maybe not learn, but yeah, we are able to see something amazing. That yes, this is the reality, and by this we can build it. That was my objective, to show you that, and this is a very small scale which I'm showing you, right? It will, like, keep on growing as we will. Yeah, that's my Kaju, by the way. So he's here. Yeah, so we'll keep on growing from here, and yeah, we'll keep on building more and more. Fine, guys. With that, thank you so much. Even he's waiting for me. It's time for him to spend, like, some time with me. So this is what he do, like, every night, basically after 9 o'clock. So he, like, keep on looking for me so that he can sit and he can play with me. So yeah, tell him to say hi. Yeah, he can come here. He can say hi. He can do that. He's very cute. Okay, so fine, everyone. Take care. Thank you so much. See you again next class, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, take care, everyone. Good night. And do not forget to destroy your resources if you have spent the resources. Yeah, destroy it. Otherwise, if cloud will come, don't come and say that you haven't told.